Hi, my name is Chris Hagans, and this is my presentation concerning parent apathy. This is what I know. Mrs. Rose is in her first year as assistant principal. The school has little parental involvement, and the principal sees no problem with this. The principal also feels that the parents are better off left alone, and that the concerned ones are the ones that call, and therefore he's in touch with the community and everything's great. The principal is also against any type of parent-teacher organization or anything like that. Another thing that I do know is that the invitation to this parent meeting was given to the students to deliver to their parents, and then only 8 parents ended up showing up at the meeting. What I need to know, I'd like to know the history of the past school-parent relations. What has happened to sort of break this bond between school and community? What is the best method of contacting parents? Do all people have access to internet? What about telephone calls? What about email? Those types of things. I'd also like to know why the principal is against the PTO, PTA groups. I need to know the demographics of the community. That will help me in communicating with them, knowing what's acceptable in their community as far as eye contact and things like that will help me relate to them much, much better. I also need to know what time works best to hold parent meetings. Maybe we need to hold 2 separate parent meetings, one in the morning for parents who work at night, and maybe one in the evening, for the rest of the parents. And then I also need to know how the community feels about the school. The problem. The John F. Kennedy School is lacking an important component in the success of the learning environment. The school must find a way to incorporate effective parent involvement in the day-to-day activities of the district. The problem is, though, the assistant principal needs to handle this very carefully in order to get her principal, her superior, convinced that parent involvement is something worthwhile. Here's my plan of action. First, I think it would be important to research the demographics of the school, figure out, their backgrounds, where they work, the times they work, things like that. I also need to determine past school-parent relationships. It was noted that in the past there were a few parent groups that were involved in the school. What's happened? Why don't those exist anymore? I need to find some surveys that will connect with what the parents need. I need to also then create a plan based off of all of that information to increase involvement from my parents and the community as a whole. And then I need to present it to my principal and twist his arm to get him to accept the fact that, yeah, maybe we do need more community and parent involvement in our school. Strategies. I think first and foremost, I must try to create a positive environment. That goes all the way down through the district. The kids need to feel good about what they're doing. The teachers need to feel good about what they're teaching and that they're supported by the administration. And then that then can spread into the community, this positive, good feeling of, just that our school is good and that we're doing good things. In addition, we need to create a vision for our stakeholders. Have a vision. Maybe first off, what we want to do is to just concentrate on communication and build that. Then once, great avenues are established, we can move on to other goals and expand that vision to really concentrate on creating a good school environment. Another part that I think is very, very important is that the administration should try to be visible in the community. Teachers as well. I think if the community can see that we are willing to participate in their activities, then maybe the community would be willing to participate in school activities, and there could be a working relationship there, coexisting together for the betterment of our community. And then I'll need to create an effective communications process, not only with parents and businesses and things like that in our community, but also district-wide with our teachers and our buildings and so forth. Most importantly, we need to concentrate on what is good for the students. The students will thrive in a learning environment that utilizes all stakeholders. This includes parents and community members alike. Once in a while, especially in small districts, if a student has an issue with a teacher, personalities clash or something like that, having the opportunity to maybe pair up with the work study in the community could really spur that student to do well in school and so forth. And parents definitely want to be involved in their child's education. I really don't believe that they think it's all up to the teacher. Once the community takes part in the learning process, the school takes on a positive charge that enhances learning. Businesses can assist in the learning process. It takes more than just teachers, to raise our kids. The principal contends that the few phone calls and parent meetings held in the past are sufficient in getting a feel for the community. However, he or she is neglecting important aspects of the district, such as business leaders and community members who don't have children in school. True communication with all stakeholders is what is best for students. A resolution to the problem. The principal and vice principal must agree on a plan to increase parent community involvement in the school. Sending notes home with students in hopes that they will give them to their parents is not an effective mode of communication. If they're like my kid, they put all the papers under the seat and hide the fact that they have homework to do. So the notes home probably not the best way to communicate with parents. Also, we need to obtain a true sense of community by using more than just a select few phone calls and parent conferences to get a feel for how our community feels. What I'm thinking, valuing, and feeling. First off, I'm very frustrated at the methods of communication. I'm also upset at the principal's attitude. Hey, what we're doing is good enough. Parents are happy, teachers are happy. Let's just keep it that way. There's always room for improvement. Also, I'm also thinking that much time will be needed to establish a vision, get a vision where everybody is on board, can agree with, and so forth. And then also the ISLLC standards focus on community assets. I mean, that's an important part. And so somehow, as a district, we need to find a way to get the community involved. Unresolved issues. Some things that I would like to know is, why is the principal hesitant to include parents? Has there been a bad experience in the past? Maybe on occasion, communicating with parents led to hostile meetings, things like that. What's behind the principal not wanting, a PTO or a PTA or something such as that. I also think it'd be important to know how hard the assistant principal can push to get this communication avenue opened. Will her job be at risk if she continues to butt heads with her principal? How will that work out in the end? I also need to know, what are the obstacles to communication? With the local mailboxes closing down, post office closing down, is that an issue of people not getting their mail in a timely manner? Are we not sending out mail in an orderly fashion in time for them to review what we send and that sort of thing? Internet, do people have internet? Do they have access to that? Do they have access to set up on the phone tree so we could maybe automatically call and leave a message of certain meetings and so forth? I also need to know how my teachers stand on the issue. Do they feel that more parental communication would be effective? What are their suggestions on communicating with the community and so forth? Also, I need to know what businesses exist in the community. Can we pair up with them? Would they be willing to work with us, maybe in a leadership role? Or maybe our students could go to their businesses and work for a day or something like that. And then I'd also like to know, of those 8 parents that did show up for the meeting, are they willing to assist in this process? Would they be willing to be the first parent group to kick this whole communication vision off between our schools and the community? Collaborating with the community is extremely important. When studying past school-parent relationships, efforts can be made to repair any bridges that were burned in the past. Surveys can be utilized to determine parent and community needs when communicating with the school. And then the school can also find opportunities to assist in community activities, such as barbecues, fundraisers, or maybe an old Iron Days in town or some sort of festival in town the school could volunteer to help with, to make for sure that that goes off well and shows that the school has pride in their community. Diverse needs and interests. I think by researching the demographics of the district, administration can determine the best way to collaborate with the families in the community. How does their work impact? Maybe they don't get to see the news or the community channel or whatever the case might be. I think it's also important to find ways to utilize the PTO, PTA organizations within the district to enhance stakeholder input and increase involvement of the community. And then lastly, I think that communities could be created which reflect the diversity of the community. Maybe if there's a huge, several groups of heritage or things like that, maybe we can have a culture day or something like that where we have booths for food and that sort of thing, and then establish that relationship and then take that further by trying to meet their needs and help them feel like they're a part of the process, and will help lead to the success of the school. Mobilize community responses. I think if we create a vision in which all stakeholders can aspire to, will allow for cooperation among students, staff, parents, community. And then I think in the end, this will create a positive learning environment. The community will realize that maybe the kids aren't that bad after all, and that they do care and they do have a heart. And the park that they helped repair in town, those types of things can all lead to good feelings between community and school. I also think if school members, administration, teachers, however, would attend the area club meetings, it would help build a solid relationship between school and community. Also, when school administration and staff are visible throughout the community, attending games and festivals and things like that, the avenues are open for two-way communication between business and school. Therefore, the lines of communication are established and they can be utilized in the future to help enhance student learning, such as work study and so forth. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation on parent apathy.